Comicsgate Journal, March 13, 2020. Direct market bleeding out in an alley. Death by 1,000 cuts. This industry's afraid of me. I've seen its true face. The shelves are extended gutters, and the gutters are filled with diversity. And when the stacks finally get too thick, all the vermin will drown. The accumulated karma of all their derangement and entitlement will foam up around their waists. And all the so-called professionals who called us bigots that blocked us will look up and shout, "Save us!" And we'll whisper, "No."
Defiant to the end, huh?
What you gonna do, huh? We've swept this place. You've got nothing. We have guns.
No, what you have are bullets, and the hope that when your guns are empty, I'm no longer standing, because if I am, you'll all be dead before you've reloaded.
That's impossible. Kill him.
Beneath this mask, there is more than flesh. Beneath this mask, there is an idea. And ideas are bulletproof.
Yo! What's up, all you kangers and post-kangers? Thank you very much for being here. Impromptu stream. I just finished dinner. And then I saw the outros were playing on Malin, so I thought I probably got 15 minutes to start something up. Tiny Baby Sloth says, Comicsgate has the best intros. Man, I put so much effort into that intro. I used it so much back in the day. Love it. Love of V for Vendetta. Probably my favorite of all the comic book adaptation movies. The worst thing about it is Alan Moore. Yeah. I'm pro V for Vendetta, but I'm anti-commie. So I got to marry that together. We were supposed to chat on Friday, says Riot Press. I know. I totally forgot. Did you forget or did you remember? Sorry, Patrick. Yeah, he forgot too. I know, right? We'll get to it. How the bloody hell are you all going? We'll do some flatting later. We'll chat whatever you guys want to chat about, whatever you want to bring up, whatever gossip you hens want to cluck about. We can chat about it. In other news, I just passed 1 million views on my channel. So well done, me. Thank you, YouTube algorithm. I did like 600,000 in the first 3 years and then 400,000 in the last 2 days. So that's how it works on YouTube. I'm reliably told. Is this a hen party? Says J-Max. Sort of. Let's say hello to Val Schnitzel. BLT's here. Finn's here. He's the Deep Red State. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Mortal V is back. Great to see Matt Matt B Studio, Noran Rad. D says late and gay. Yeah, I don't normally stream this late, but fuck it. I've already done my short for tomorrow. Always good to get some. It's like the end of the night for me, so you know. Well, and plus, anyway, I don't like to do hard stuff on stream, so I'll be flatting in a second. Hurry Bancroft says, how's your father? I'm hurrying. SDA's here, Butterbear's here, Princessa. I'm just looking for another free membership. Well, hopefully there's a generous fella or lady out there, a mad lad or a mad wham. Frankly, O's here, Jav Styler. At least Bancroft keeps the intros short. Yeah, I know why people put on long intros, though. It's to get the chat in the house. Jeremy Burtz, Tiny Baby Sloth, JD Kirby, hello, KSSS. Congratulations. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ken Jack Ben. All right, let's get this party started. Oh, Patrick T for $2. Did you even watch Breaking Away? I haven't yet, Patrick. I've been busy, man. I've been busy drawing and doing other things, but it's on my list of things to do. Thank you for the super chat, though, nonetheless. D has just gifted 5 memberships. You bloody legend, D. Thank you. So we got Ralph Mack, Butter Bear, Princessa Missed Out, Val Schnitzel, Ken Jack Ben, and Zach Fernandez snagged them. D?
Well, cheers, big ears.
Yeah, dudes. This is how crazy it's been getting. Hold on a sec. Yeah, these shorts are going nuts. Absolutely, especially the Hogwarts ones. It's really the Hogwarts ones that went absolutely berserk. One of them's like 150,000 or something. Oh no, I got a gift from D. I don't deserve it. You deserve everything. I wanted to be Phil Socks next, but I can't change the name. Ew. Jeremy says, welcome to the $1 million club. Woo, congrats. Cheers, Jeremy. Yeah, Jeremy made that leap last year. Check it out. Check it out. Hold on, I got to show you this. This is pretty, for me, this is very impressive. Now, it's just this month. I don't know if I'll ever be able to replicate it again, but look, this is vidIQ. You can put things up against each other. Here's Ethan. Here's your boy Zach. Here's me. Now, I know they're just shorts. I know I don't get 1,000 people in my live streams, but still, that's an achievement. I'm happy about that. And from all these views, I earned like $5. So there's that. Put that in the bank. Rob is alive. He's alive. We thought you were dead, man. We thought you were dead. Well, it's good to see that you're alive. Yeah, dude, this is crazy. Hang on, let me go to my YouTubes. Let me go to my channel. 1 Mirrion Views. We're live. Yeah, these. Let me have a look here. Shorts popular. Look at this. It's all Hogwarts. Thank you, J.K. Rowling. Thank you, trans activists. Rob says, I got the COVID. I'll be back or I won't. You'll be back, Rob. Rob lives. That's all. I'm just happy. Bancroft catching the outrage views. I'm trying to become a YouTube grifter. I want to grift to subsidize the comic making. Lol. Notice Bancroft didn't put Malin up there. Malin is competitive. You want me to put Malin up there? I don't think Malin wants me to put Malin up there. Not that it's like a flex. Malin gets 1,000 people watching his streams now. But view for view, I mean, if you want to, I could do it. Malin will start doing shorts and just destroy me. Hold on a sec. Let me take these two off. That's Malin. That's me. It's weird how YouTube works. Yeah, I didn't get 1,000 people in my chats though. I think that's the most important thing. I think that is the most important thing. He's good, but Malin can't be good at everything. No, he's actually good at videos. Malin's great at videos. He just, I don't know if he has the time. Bancroft riding that algorithm like a chick through a police department. I am. We got Shane Davis in the house. Yeah. I just want to show you guys this. Like, check out some of the views on these things. It's crazy. 159, 92, 63, 26, 12, 8. And on it goes. It's crazy. It's crazy. But I've been doing one a day. So I don't know. I don't know if it's doing any. I mean, I'm definitely getting subs, but I don't know how many of them are hanging out in the chat. I mean, that's what the whole point is. So I don't know. I'll continue the experiment, but it's cool to get 1 million views. I want to try and get 10,000 subs. That's what we'll be doing. YouTube is pushing the shorts, D. You are correct. All right. I'm going to move this over here. Tea's probably a bit too hot. Do you remember the dong panel? I thought we could flat the dong panel. I hid the dong, so you won't have to see it. It's behind shadow. I did the whole batawang thing to it, if you recall. So it's still there. The shadow. I just put a shadow in front of it. I can take it off if you want to see it. Yes. Tell people about your live streams at the end of the short. Yeah, I was doing like subscribe thing, like at the end of the short, subscribe. Shane says, is this a solo stream? I was thinking it was going to be a solo stream. Did you want to join? Are you bored, Shane? I don't know what you're doing. You can come in if you want. Let me know. I'll just send in the link. If you, I'll do the mail-in thing. If he wants to come in, he can. If he wants. If he doesn't, that's fine. Shane Davis. I haven't spoken to Shane in a little bit. Not since he launched his own site. Sure, he has a lot to say. Were he so inclined? He's like, don't make me ask Bancroft. Why is Bancroft drawing 1963 Sean Connery nude? That's cool. I like that you think he's Sean Connery. That fits. That's my bad guy right there. I'll give you a little sneak peek. There you go. That's all you get. Clip that. Invite the bro dogs. Spice this up. I don't know if it's going to be spicy, but all right, I got to get some. Oh, pop. Hold on a sec. Headphones in. Mr. Davis.
What's going on, Michael?
Doing the same thing I guess you were doing. I saw
Yep. Drawing
dongs.
I'm not drawing dongs though. I mean,
Oh.
that would be awkward if we're both drawing dongs at like this hour at the same time.
It's a reasonable hour for me. What time is it where you are?
I'm gonna go to bed after this. So if I draw a dong before I go to bed, I'll probably dream about dongs. I can't do that.
What is it with CG like staying up till crazy hours? Everyone does, except me. I go to bed at a normal hour.
Well, there for a while with Terry because it was just I've been yawning all night, so I probably need more sleep. With me and Yanzi, because of Terry, we were kind of shifting a little bit. So, so somebody would be able to sleep normal, like, do a shift.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even though now we don't need to, I'm still kind of in that habit. But I don't know. I think, especially if you're in the US, part of it is the East Coast and West Coast. It forces you into this weird time slot where you appeal to the bigger audience.
For me, CG all happens during the day and a little bit into the start of the evening, but sort of normally after about, I don't know, 7:30. That's it for me with CG. I'm like, I go inside, I hang out, have dinner, and that's about it. Like, you guys go all night long.
I don't actually. I'm not a fan of the Monday thing because I normally want to go into like King's late so I can still go on John's, because he does the post Kings. That way I can like basically have 4 hours or 5 hours of stream stretch across the two. But lately it's been like, no, you need to be in here sooner. You need to be, over. So it's I don't know. Mondays just seems very taxing. Like,
yeah, it gets like that. Like when I was doing my show and Camel Nights, it was like every week, a good, 4 or 5 hours, there. Travis 42 says, "Hail the Spud Father, bring the pain, Shane. Bring the pain." Thank you for the super chat. We've got the for you guys who are members, we have the Shane Davis I'm not a potato emoji right there.
There you go.
In the chat for you. If you want
good reason to be a member.
You want to exactly show Shane your appreciation. I just watched a video of yours. I'm going to steal your video idea.
What video was it?
The orgy thing.
Oh, that thing's like, so I've been following T. Franklin for a while and some of her debauchery, but I knew of her like before she made it into DC and Marvel, and she had done like an Image book, maybe it was a web comic, but then Image published it about 2 old lesbians playing bingo. But they weren't lesbians till their twilight years. Like one girl's like, "Oh, my husband died. I guess I want to like lick carpet." Like it was like.
Is that a thing? Is that a thing when you become a lesbian? You're like, everything I do now can only be about that I lick carpet. Like,
I don't know. I just know of this book. I never read it. I just know this book existed, and then it's like, well, that's weird. Good for her that she was able to make that comic. That like I mean, I had no quarrels about it. It's like, why should I? If somebody wants to make a comic, good on them. But then the stuff that she's doing with DC stuff, it started. What was the first thing it started? It was where it was really debauchery. There's like a whole
Battlewang.
No, it was the giraffe thing. Vixen.
Yeah, I missed the giraffe thing. I saw you guys talk about it, but I didn't know what it was.
Well, so Vixen has the ability to channel the strengths of an animal. So she wrote a handicapped black girl in as her girlfriend, and then Vixen's like, "I'm going to use the power of a giraffe, so I have its long velvety tongue." And proposition.
Are there pictures of this?
Yeah, you can Google it. Like it was talked about.
It's Vixen. Vixen.
Yeah, it was Vixen, and that's where it started. And everybody was outraged about it at first, right? And then, like all of a sudden, like all this other stuff she does, which builds off of that. Like, because if she started, if that's her first step. Like, what is she doing on the second, third, fourth? It has to build off of that. It's like nobody cares. But if I do a T. Franklin video, she does a lot of crazy stuff. If I do a T. Franklin video, we usually get really good views. But Gianti's like, I'm not going to keep doing T. Franklin videos because it looks like we're picking on her.
Yeah, I didn't really. That was like, I was sitting there wondering, because I know Ripper did a similar video, and I watched both of them because I was sort of struggling to come up with a take, and it's a little different with a short. You only really get to make one point. Because if you try and make too many points, then it doesn't work. And then I thought, no, fuck it. I don't think there is a point to make here. I just wanted to laugh at it. I just think it's like, it's funny that it's this sort of Tumblr webtoon kind of thing is now mainstream. And
that's, you're a little off again. The problem, so you can do that, and that'll be a fine short, but the real nut here, I'm trying to think another metaphor besides nut. The real gem of the donut here with T. Franklin is she was a sex worker. So it's kind of like DC Comics hired a sex worker to write a bunch of characters having sex.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna get into all.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna get into all that. That
Like-
seems like something you need to, again, pardon the pun, to do a deep dive on.
No, well, it's just there was like a tweet like around the holidays, was it? She was like, "Hey, I'm a grandma who's draining balls
Oh,
and
that's
wallet."
her.
That's the same person, yeah.
Oh, right.
She used to
Oh,
have
actually,
sex
it
worker
kind of
in
fits.
her. She used to have sex worker in her Twitter like pronouns or whatever bio, and then she took it out because I guess DC Comics didn't want her to have it there. But then they hire her to do. It's so weird. The whole thing. It's like you really have to observe it as a whole to really like
Yes.
be like, what the hell is happening with this? And because she was also part of a DC Comics second round robin project, and she thought she won a round. And then, and I think the whole point of the book, if you look at her description, was, hey y'all, these characters are gay. And she thought she won, and I can't even remember what she had because it was nothing I was interested in. But it turned out they counted the votes wrong, or she had bots that lied about what she had her votes were. And DC Comics took it away, and then she started crying. And quickly, DC Comics, from this one shot she was going to get, they gave her like a Harley Quinn series to shut her up. So she lost a contest that was a voting mechanism to turn around to then be rewarded with a bigger prize just so she would shut up. And then Archie hired her at the same time, like within hours, it seemed like, to write herself as a handicapped character in Riverdale. Her whole thing is like, there's no simple way, there's no simple note with T. Franklin. It's like this very complicated, like she's like the bizarro meritocracy, because she's black, she's a woman, she's a sex worker, and she's handicapped. So she has every box checked. And she's bisexual, I guess.
I didn't even mention her by name in my short. But yeah, sounds like there's a lot going on there.
Yeah, no, it is. But it's like, it's really hard to, it's like,
yeah,
it's
if you don't see the whole map, like you just see these individual grains of sand, you don't see the whole like pile of sand that's just like piling up.
And all of this has been happening over like maybe a year and a half. Not the Image book. Going back there, that's probably maybe 10 years ago. But, and then there's a whole high drunk tirade that she went on YouTube one night, stoned as fuck, talking about Mark Waid saying the N-word to her. So she tried to cancel Mark Waid also, but it didn't take wind. Like, this just,
they'll try again. They'll try again.
Yeah.
Here's something. We got Phil Diaz in the house. How's the how's working with Cecil going, Phil? Phil, you can come in if you want to come in. I'll do the same thing. I'll send Phil the link. Here's a question. Here's something that I'm getting now that I've started doing videos again. I mean, I used to do them more regularly. And I get this on Twitter a lot too. John says we're all falling for the grift, which I take to mean we are falling for the bait that they're doing. So obviously they're trying to bait us into making content of them for their own clout, I suppose. What's your take on this?
I touched about this on the short video, but a lot of in an underhanded way, and I may do a full-on video about it, but there's this thing where more people see these single panels than they'll ever buy the comic, because of it goes viral, right? That one panel ends up on the internet and it just gets shared and talked about and whatever, but it never translates to sales. And then you go, well, why do they keep doing it? But the companies are, they're falling financially, right? I feel like it's just a internet generation of people working in comics. It's not so much SJWs that they don't understand the difference between monetary gains and going viral, and they don't know how to distinguish the two to make a sound business decision. And I mean, that's my take. I mean, and it's so bad to do this in comics because it's so close to piracy, because you're already online. The chances of that person going to a comic shop because they saw one panel that's absurd and that seems to be the talk of the town, it's ridiculous. You're so close to the edge of the cliff of piracy that you're probably just getting illegally downloaded for whatever content.
I had someone call me out for talking about Proud Family. Like, you're just that the argument being, you're just giving this thing oxygen by talking about it. I'm like, yeah, but I've got 5,000 followers on Twitter. Like, we're talking about Disney here, you know. Like, me talking about it and laughing at it, I don't think is gonna affect how many people. I mean, in aggregate, everyone doing it sure has an effect, but I think if it's more like that, people aren't actually watching the cartoon necessarily; they're seeing the memes.
I think if anything, it's not a grift and we're not falling for it. I think it's actually very important that we call it out and give commentary to it, because without it, somebody's just going to think that, well, this must be cool. This because DC Comics is doing it, and DC Comics is a brand. I mean, I think it's important that people actually call it out for what it is. And I mean, it's a lost generation that, you know, the only thing they understand is likes on Twitter or Facebook or whatever. Like, I don't know. I kind of disagree that we're doing what they want, because I understand that argument, but that doesn't mean that. I don't think this is something you deal with in absolutes, because like they're going viral just because of the community and because it's so brave, it's so bold. If somebody doesn't call it out online, and that's the beauty of, you know, the internet thus far, is like, it's probably, for what it's worth, it's pretty close to freedom of speech, given the platform. So as long as we were able to call it out for what it is, I feel like there's some value in that.
Well, and didn't that there's a book, I don't know if you did a video on it, I know Ripper did. I'd mentioned it in a stream, that they actually stopped doing it because it was like a radical friggin' George Floyd, Luke Cage story.
Yeah, I
and they
did a
were
video
worried
on
it was going to get
well, they said radical right, but they were in the works. Like, they did a whole issue and they stopped. And I mean, that's good on Marvel. At least they distinguished, like, hey, maybe, you know, people are, this shit doesn't sell, or it's going to cause more problems. Yanzi's take was probably they didn't want to pay the family or estate or Black Lives Matter movement. Like, there was going to be some money owed to somebody, because I think like George Floyd's mother was involved in the story.
Yeah. It all sound. I know I didn't really cover it too deeply, but it all sounded pretty freaking crazy to me. But I mean, at least it demonstrated that they're sort of thinking about the landscape that they're putting this stuff out into. Super chat from Patrick. Pretty crazy that Whitney got accepted to MegaCon, huh? I mean, it makes perfect sense to me. I don't know if you guys aren't aware. Whitney applied to get a booth or a table, I don't know, maybe a something at MegaCon, and she was instantly accepted. Meanwhile, you know, CG people have been trying to get the same thing for months now and nothing. So it's pretty clear that we're sort of persona non grata over there, which is a shame. Thank you for the super chat there, Patrick.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be weird going forward for us if we want to try to partake in the same events as other people in comics. I just don't. I gave up on it. Like, I'm going to go to a con, first time in years, and I'm actually dreading it.
Why?
Like, I did so many, and like, it's getting on a plane, TSA, lugging your books, like, you know, up and down escalators, checking into hotel rooms. It's like, I don't know. Like I don't like flying, like, either. Like, I'm not a big fan of flying. So there's a lot of reasons, but I don't know. Like, I feel like I had my fun at cons, and I'm not really looking forward to snarky looks or any of that crap. You know, like I heard people talking about CG at cons like the last couple of years, and I was getting in arguments with people already, like, you know, what, the bar scene or something like that, you know, just for being like neutral. Like, it was an issue just to not, like, you're just as bad as CG if you don't condemn them. And it's like, I know that stuff is around the con scene, and it's like, I had those arguments before, and now I'm here. I'm not looking forward to getting face to face with these people. I don't think it'll be that big a deal, but I'm still like, there's some arguments I would love to have like online all day, every day, but not in real life.
Patrick says, we're gonna have some fun, Shane. Puck up, trooper. Well, like, I've never been to a convention, so it's all gonna be very new to me. So there's that for me. But yeah, I didn't expect to be getting into any arguments with anyone.
I doubt it'll be that, but I'll know the people that normally would have had an argument with me, and now they're not.
Your scene,
yeah. It's like it's kind of that. Like, I hate hypocrites. Like, I have a big issue with hypocrites. I'm looking for something. I'm listening. I'm just looking for a book.
Do you think they would actually start up though, or they would just not say anything? Because I remember Ethan telling a story that it took someone, like, some pushing to actually say something, even though they'd been going at it online for ages.
Yeah, no, they're pretty wimpy. I just, this whole, like, oh, they scare me, they're a threat, they threaten me, it turns into a he said, she said type thing. And usually those situations I'd rather just avoid altogether. So part of me
I'm
just
looking forward to meeting CG people, really.
Yeah, I'm more interested in that, but just being in the same room with some people, there's going to be people, I think, the same building, they're just going to look for the quickest way to run to Twitter and try to play victim or something, or say somebody, you know, and there's like, dude, there's no proof of that. You know, false accusations I worry about, stuff like that. And it's not like I worry about them, I just don't want to deal with it. You know, it's like,
Yeah, fair enough.
See, I'm the guy that's just gonna drag this whole con down, guys. That's why I now.
So it'll be like, everyone's like, Shane, we're going at the party. You're like, oh, I'm going to bed.
I'm too old for this. I'm gonna be in character. I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna have some Mange Davis moments. It'll be fun, but I mean, I may get kicked out also. We'll see. We'll see, guys.
Well, don't say that.
I don't know if I'm walking around manging it up. They may like, get out of here.
Nah.
Where's your papers?
No, can you imagine all the people just running around? They're like, what the hell? Why is everyone yelling bro dog all over the place?
Yeah. Like, what's this bro dog noise? But outside of that, I mean, it'll probably be fun. I will. There's a handful of people I'm waiting to meet in real life. Like, it'd be fun to see Mandy. I haven't seen Patrick in real life, and probably, I don't know, like what year that would have been, maybe 2016.
Well, think of me, Shane. The only people I've met in real life are the Bartons and Rob Arnold.
Yeah.
That's it. So it's like,
you're like the bubble boy of CG or something.
Oh, there's Phil Diaz.
Don't you want to see me, Shane?
What up?
No, I don't really.
Have you guys ever met?
Not that I know of. I hope not.
No. I never met Shane.
He's just going to talk about Doug Monkey and Simon Bisley the whole time anyways.
Shane only wants to play Fortnite with me. That's all I'm good for.
That's all you're good for, Phil.
Get them dubs.
No, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go stay with Camel. Apparently, he's like, you know, he set out a bunk bed and everything for us. I don't know who's on top or who's on bottom, but
That
we'll
sounded
figure that
gay.
out.
That sounded gay.
You should have seen the other night. He was playing me a video of what he's gonna do to me, and it was like some guy with a sausage or something, like sticking it in his mouth while he was asleep. And then when he woke up, oh, Camel. Then when he woke up, he's like, he puts his zip up or something.
Yeah, I saw that video.
It's pretty good.
Goody. This is the fun we have to
My
look
chat,
forward to.
I don't know what your chat's like. We played that video and everybody's like, "That's fake." Everybody has a laugh.
yeah.
That one person, that's fake. It's like,
That's
I don't
Sheila.
know. Can we
That's
laugh?
Sheila.
It is Sheila. It is Sheila. She has to tear it down. Everybody.
Yeah, it's like you go to a magic show and Sheila's in the crowd going, "That's fake. I know how they do that.
It's
That's
like
a
Sheila,
special box."
I don't know if you understand. We're trying to entertain people while selling them books. Like, so, like, there's no reason to drag it down. You know, if there's somebody's like, "Oh, that's awesome," just let them enjoy it for a little bit.
Yeah.
Let them have a laugh. Why ruin it?
That's what I say.
How's the did you start the fulfillment, Phil?
Yeah, Cecil is probably still signing books right now.
Oh, you haven't had to do anything, it's just signing?
Well, I've been backing the like free stuff, like the peripherals we call them, I guess. So like there's like a window cling, the fan art book, which is a totally free book, and what else? Oh, the Anna, That Star Wars Girl, Kelsey Shannon posters. So I've been packing those up in bags while he was signing today. I had a day off of work.
How many did you get through?
So how many? I think I packed like 200 of them. I only did it for a few hours. And then by the time I left, he'd gone through 9 boxes of 90 books. And I think he has about 20 or something to get through, because it's just the Dirtworm Doug books that we have that he's signing right now.
What if he's there with you for like 4 weeks?
Yeah, what are you going to do then, Phil?
Well, I think he's leaving tomorrow night, and then because we don't have the main books yet, there was a printer delay, I guess. So those are coming in another couple weeks. So he's going to come back to sign those, and that's the real haul. That's like he's got to sign thousands of books.
So why
good
did he come?
times.
Why would he drive up twice? That makes no sense. Why not just come make one trip?
Just to chip away at it, because he's got. Oh, I guess he's got other stuff to do, right? He's chip away at it, because I mean, why wait an extra 3 weeks when you can come now and do these books, get them out of the way, and then when the other books come, he won't have to do these ones.
Kind of sounds like he want to get a little taste of the Diaz brothers.
Yeah, it's like he wants another trip, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like when a girlfriend leaves. No,
Yeah.
This is like when a girlfriend leaves your house, and she's like, "I got to come back and pick up something I left."
Yeah, I know
I've
what
dealt
she
with
left
that.
there.
Is
Something
it
she's
possible?
missing.
Is it possible the Diaz brothers are likable? People like hanging out with them.
I think
working
it's
with them?
probably more
God,
possible.
it's shocking.
Cecil's gay. I think it's more possible Cecil's gay.
Whatever, man.
I mean, let's be honest. Let's
Different
make it about
strokes.
Cecil and not
Different
about you. Yeah, he's looking for different strokes.
I'm about to start fulfillment.
Hell
Got
yeah.
all that coming in. Actually, it's coming in. The books will be here in 2 days, a day, something like that. That'll be fun. Nowhere near as much as what you're dealing with over there.
I'm going to ask you guys a weird, vague question. It'll be fun.
Sounds great.
dawned on me today. I've been here. How long have I been in CG? Like Phil, like what, 3 years?
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't think 3 years, maybe two and a half.
Whatever. It don't matter. Does things feel different and how to you guys? Because today I realized I'm like, I can't put my finger on it, but everything's different. Or or I don't know, like I have a bleed in my brain or something. I have no idea. Maybe
Probably that one.
Yeah, it could be that one.
Can you get any more specific? With your
No,
feeling?
I don't know. It's a vibe. Like I today, like before I came on here, I'm like, everything feels different.
Yeah, but you've also been saying that for 2 years.
No, but eventually I'm gonna be right. All right.
Rob says that all the time. Rob is like in my DMs every week. He's like, man, CGs are so different now. And I'm like, what's going on, Rob?
I don't know if it is different though. That's the thing. Like it just feels different. It was like on Kings, like Ethan started dropping some information, and I was like, whoa. He's like, yeah, LinkedIn. Like I saw this guy that used to be our guy at Indiegogo. Evidently, he's fired. He's not even there anymore. He's on LinkedIn. He doesn't work with Indiegogo anymore. I'm like,
Joel.
Yeah. I was like,
my boy Joel.
Yeah, like it is like everything. Like I'm not saying CG, but just like our terrain just seems so like not
shifting sands.
Right. Like I mean, maybe I'm phrasing. I mean, I don't know what it is. It's just like something's different.
Well, here's the thing. It's just the same thing in life. Life is shifting sands. CG is constantly changing. There's people coming in that are new, people leaving all the time. And new situations are going to arise, and you just have to, grab onto Big Phil's shoulders and enjoy the ride.
I'll be doing that in Florida.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get drunk, and I'll do a piggyback on you. How much can you carry?
I'm down. How much do you weigh?
Close to 90 kilos. I don't know what that is in
I could do it. I don't even know what that is. I could do it.
I could be 2 ton. You don't know. Well, yeah. Let's think back, right? Let's go back on a journey through time to year 1, where it's not even really CG. It's like proto CG. You weren't even out yet, Shane. You were hot. You were like in the bushes. You were the man on the inside.
Yeah,
deeply closeted.
Closeted. Yes. Like that was a crazy friggin' year. That was like peak culture war, CG culture war year. That was your boy Zach being super famous. Ethan sort of coming out as CG, starting up Cyberfrog and everything. Then it was the crazy like boom period of crowdfunding. Like you could just turn up. This is how crazy it was. People don't even know this. You could just turn up with a cover and maybe a page and make 50,000 or something on a campaign because there were only about 5 other campaigns going. That's pretty nuts. I think that was never going to last. It's funny that we kind of get judged against those first 2 years. You know, people will come by looking for a way to say that we're in decline by looking at that, initial boom period. I think there was so much frenzy surrounding it. We got fat, says I'm trying desperately not to be. Mel said, you better lose weight while I'm gone. She's in France. Like that was a crazy time. It was never going to last. And then hopefully, and I think this is true, I think it is, that eventually the meritocracy side of it did start to win out. And that's good. Competition is great. But the downside of that is people lose in that situation. So, there's been a lot of and every year that's going to build. Like every year there'll be more people who've lost in the game of CG. And what's going to happen when they lose? Well, we see what happens sometimes. We see what happens other times. Sometimes they just leave. They're like, oh, well, I gave it my best shot. It didn't work out.
Yeah.
You know, others it doesn't. It's not quite so pleasant for everyone.
See, to me, that's just the way publishing's always worked, especially comic publishing.
Has
Like
it ever
that-
been so visible, though? Like everything's
Well-
on the table. Everything's out to display.
Well, no, but I mean, the way publishing kind of works also is it doesn't really matter. Like, sometimes what a book really sells, you're not really playing with your money. It's really not until you start looking at like Image Comics, like their catalog, you start seeing people winning and losing. At least in mainstream comics, the winners and losers and mainstream books, really, because they're usually they have 0 to no advances from Image, like that there is no page rate, like that they're just gonna make whatever profits they have on the book. And if there is an advance, like it's an advance against royalties, like Image is taking their money back. So like you can kind of see big name winners and losers gamble with Image Comics. But that was a big thing all through, like, I don't know, like the 2014s to 2016s, maybe, like during the whole Saga boom, like in 2.0. Like there was a lot of that. Like you would see Kelly Sue DeConnick and Matt Fraction go and make like a lot of money on an image book, that like Bitch Planet or Sex Criminals. And you would see these guys kind of roll off of big SJW highs and whatever Marvel books that they were being super promoted on. Then they would just leave the company and go make a lot of money with their Image book and own it and try to sell it to Hollywood right away. But there were a lot of losers there. Like there was a lot of people that would go try to get involved. And I had some money saved up and I did my own creator-owned book, Extend. And, I invested my money in my book, and I got torn apart by SJWs. They were like, I was a relic of the past. I looked like the old Image. Why is he white? Why is he a male? Like, why are they publishing his book? And it's like, dude, I paid for this book. Like,
writing female characters, Shane.
Hispanic gay character. Why am I doing that? I don't have a sensitivity reader. It was like a lot of stuff, and it was
like a nightmare.
And I mean, but beyond that, like, I mean, they would write articles like comic articles that were like dogging me for just being this relic of the past, versus like Paper Girls by Brian K. Vaughan and Cliff Chang. That era, like, it's really weird. There were real winners and losers, like kind of the same way you're talking here. It's just you couldn't really see their numbers as a parent. But if you knew anything about publishing, you could kind of guesstimate like what people were taking home off of their ICV2 numbers and stuff like that. I mean, there was something like that happening though in mainstream. It just wasn't. It wasn't Marvel and DC. It was Image.
Gonna grab this super chat from D for $20.
Damn.
$20, D.
You little ripper! Thanks, lads.
This is for your losing weight bucket of KFC Bancroft. There. Yeah, I guess I'll probably have to make a pledge not to be eating KFC while Mel is away.
2016.
Sour.
26. This isn't CG, but in 2016, I saw like people having what people thought were mega super, like, or 2015, maybe 2014, mega super crowdfunding successes, and I'm talking like $30,000. Everybody thought that was a crazy Kickstarter success. you know, even just in
Yeah.
comic, that you could make that much and not work at Marvel and DC. So I to me, like, I get what you're saying about either one of CG, but like just in general, as far as crowdfunding goes, actually, I think it's grown considerably, like from what it
Oh yeah,
originally was.
absolutely.
I mean, just in general, but
I'm actually going to do, I was just talking to Mel today. I want to do a video or a series of videos about the kind of reality of not just CG, but indies in general, if you're doing it by yourself. Like, because I don't really know anything about the whole, image route, or going through a publisher or anything, but I do know about this scene, and I know about a little bit about the non-CG indie scene, and yeah, what the difference is. And we talk about this a little bit, like, yeah, remember back in the before Jawbreakers, almost no one made decent money in crowdfunding. It was just a lot of really small campaigns, and there are still plenty of people who were making 5 to 10,000, still plenty everywhere. But there's also plenty of people like yourself who are 6 figures on every campaign. That didn't exist unless you were friggin' being paraded about as the next big thing in comics by all of the big media sites and everything. I think I remember your boy Zach, the moment he beat Black in terms of initial crowdfunding. We got a super chat here from Liam Gray.
Damn, Liam.
He says, in 30 minutes, I will be deleting my channel live, and that will be the last time I do anything YouTube related. So Mo Biggs and other folks, come say goodbye. This is not a PR stunt.
Liam.
Oh.
I hope this is a sound, thought through decision, Liam.
Yeah.
I hope you come back, Liam.
Thank you for the super chat, nonetheless.
I mean, and I'm gonna actually say I hope if he doesn't want to come back, he doesn't come back. I mean, whatever's good for you, do it. If that don't be on YouTube, if you don't want to do YouTube.
Right,
YouTube is very taxing, so like if you're not comfortable with it, don't do it.
That would be part of the video that I was thinking. Is it sort of can become a black pill to a lot of creators, a lot of comic creators, because it seems to be the only way to get not the only way, but like 99 times out of 100, the only way you get 6 figures is if you have a successful YouTube channel, or you're at least tapped into CG at a good level, like you're regularly on Ethan's show or something like that. So that does become a black pill for a lot of guys who aren't in that position. Which I do have an answer, but I'll leave that to the video.
So I'm gonna go I'm gonna try to do this name. It's so weird. I've seen some big channels. I'm talking like huge sub counts. Like, I'd like to not say names, but it's kind of hard not to. Like you take Clownfish TV. I think they almost have like, are they going upwards like 300,000?
293.
Yeah. See, you're on your way to being a YouTube grifter. You knew that without me even asking.
Oh yeah. No, I watch all the quote unquote grifters. I see what everyone's talking about. Yeah.
But I mean, like I think pretty much every one of my campaigns beats any campaign they run, you or reprint. Like, and I have nowhere near those subs. Well, like, I mean, like
that gets into the Comicsgate side of it,
right?
Yeah, it does. I with that said, and these are just real datas that I've been looking at lately. I love going on the Jack show. I love John. I love Cecil, Anna, and I like to hang out with them. But I can't sell a book over there. So like if you're talking about crowdfunding and YouTubing and stuff, like maybe it's just me, but I can't get a sell over there. I think one time I got a sell, and it was me and John. We had to drink every time we hit a certain amount, and that was one time. And it turned out it was the one same backer just buying originals from me, making me drink. So,
Yeah, but
I,
you're on
on
YouTube.
ballers, for whatever reason, like I can get 3 or 4 sells a show. Maybe a slow show, 1 sell. And that's not just for me, but that's Patrick and Andy. And what the takeaway is, it's like whenever you go into YouTube, if your goal is to sell comics, that might not necessarily mean like the most people subbing to you. Like there was like a guy that goes on
DM Drops is the thing that
Right.
we always go to. The burger guy who ate burgers in his car just decided he was going to put out a comic. I don't know why. I didn't really know the guy. I mean, maybe he's loved comics since he was a kid, but like that wasn't his audience, even though he
In
had
white art.
a million. Yeah, even though he had a million subs, it's all like they're watching short videos. Yo, Camel. They're watching these short videos about eating a burger. So,
Right.
And then the opposite is Ripper, who doesn't have the biggest channel. He has a massive channel, sure, but in terms of the grand scheme of things, I mean, it's not like the hugest, but I mean, he absolutely dropped a nuke on the, comics scene.
Yeah.
Because of, how he was able to make people like want to invest in him. But that's sort of like the secret sauce. I mean, you can't really bottle that and sell it because no one really knows what it is exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, like I think it's going to be interesting to see a lot of big channels say like, hey, I got big subs, I can sell a book and see what they do. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like it's because there was another example I saw that didn't translate. It was some YouTuber that goes on, I think, Geeks and Gamers or Friday Night Tights a couple of times or something. And I was watching a game stream he was playing, and he had just as many people watching him as like whenever I do a game stream, which is I've only done like a handful of them. And I'm like, you got like 60,000 subs. I got like not even 8, like 8. Like I don't understand how our view counts are similar. The YouTube sub thing, I don't know. It's something I'm contemplating not being less and less obsessed with. Like, but I do want more viewers, but I don't know. I think it's important that people, if you're wanting to do YouTube to sell comics, that you do realize you need to cultivate customers, not viewers. Then
It's about growing the community.
Yeah.
So like a lot of us are trying to grow our channels, and it's super hard because it's really competitive out there. And it is all relative. It's like, you get a bigger audience than I do. John gets a bigger audience than you do. Shane gets Ethan gets a bigger audience than John does, and it's sort of like we're all trying to kind of compete in this space because we all understand that if your aim is to sell books, like that's how you do it. It's not just getting raw viewers.
Yeah.
Because like you can look at and as well, there's also like super chats and members and stuff. Like the money on YouTube is in the streams, is getting the big numbers. Like that's the the gold there is getting large numbers in your live streams. But like it's like a mega mystery how to actually grow that from scratch. I don't know if any like good advice. I haven't been able to find any. It's just like you just have to, I guess, grind it. I don't know.
Especially starting now from zero, right? We all, I mean, you look at a guy like Eric July, and he's been doing it for years, and he at one point started at zero and then just extrapolated from there. And it takes so much time to do that.
there's a little bit more to that. That's true, and I know where you're going with that. And I don't mean to interrupt you, but I was talking to a YouTube manager of that DHC guy, the Asian guy with blue hair.
The art guy.
I was friends with him forever. His manager was trying to get me in touch with him and trying to get some into the comic industry back when he was trying to get into comics. And I would talk to his manager every now and then, and he was like, "Oh, YouTube's a dead platform. You got to move on to TikTok. You got to move on to this." Like a lot of these guys, you have to understand they were first to YouTube, so YouTube was very easy for them to pioneer. Whereas like we're in when it's like very competitive. So a lot of these people did have like kind of like I don't want to call it a cheat, but they kind of had a leg up.
Well, they were first in. I mean, that's a big part of it. Like being first
Yeah.
is a massive part of it, actually.
I think for CG's future, though, and I know nobody wants to do this, but I think we have to be, I was thinking about this the other day, more conscious of other platforms that may come up that are competitive with YouTube in the future. And we're definitely going to have to jump on it.
Yeah.
Like that'll be our big growth, I think, if we can manage that. If that comes around, there's a lot of like perfect like eclipse there, but like you know, we would first have to have the opportunity. Second, have to be willing to all move and jump on it and get ground.
I mean, I'm not doing it now because I just started this stream up as quickly as I could. But normally I do simulcast onto Rumble, and it's still tiny. Like we're talking between 5 and 10 live viewers, pretty much most of the time. And I don't know if they're like overlapping. But you know, I've grown that from nothing to 400 subs. But yeah, obviously still really tiny. I know Yellow Flash is pretty big on Odyssey.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also mysterious. We're all just sort of throwing shit against the wall and just trying to get something to work.
I think he'll do streams where he simulcasts and then shuts down on YouTube and continues on Odyssey.
Yeah, actually, I did that the first time I did it, and I accidentally deleted my YouTube show. I figured out how to do it after that, but yeah, there was like 60 people in the Rumble when I did that. So
that's awesome. Yeah, how many Rumble subscribers do you need to start streaming there?
100.
You have to have 100. Okay.
I just asked everyone. I just went onto Twitter and said, "Hey, can I get 100 people to sub?" And I got it almost instantly. So
I'll do that.
Yeah, you might be able to do that
because we have one. We just need to get 100.
What's up, Camel?
Hello.
How are you? I received a big box from you today, Camel.
Oh, good.
Camel
I was like, this box looks totally beaten up. I hope nothing's like wrong with it. And then I realized you double boxed, and I was like, oh, that's a clever Camel.
Yeah, I just assumed. I remember what happened with Rini. I was like, that ain't fucking happened to me. So I double boxed all that shit.
Camel sent me all of the Australian house salads. So I'll be sending them out. Mel will be sending them out tomorrow.
Yo, Mel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I put I put the name of every client on the package itself. And then I sent like a correspondence with it. And then I emailed that correspondence so that she can place that into stamps.com or whatever you guys use. So hopefully it won't be too hard. This way it's just copy and paste. You don't have to worry.
We've got our own special thing that we use here that we organize with Australia Post. So I'm able to get the good prices. Maybe Human says, I tried Rumble chat. It's awful compared to YouTube. Yeah, they need to fix their chat. It's not a good experience. And it's funny because they get massive numbers. Like I'll watch Salty Cracker over there occasionally. I'll watch some other people who get massive numbers, bigger than YouTube actually, on their live streams on Rumble. But man, the chat is woeful compared to here.
What do you mean woeful? Like what?
It's so basic. There's
Oh.
there's nothing. What did I just do?
Mm.
Nothing going on with it. It's just like you type, and I don't think you have avatars. You can't pop out the chat. I don't know if you ever do this, Shane, but I like to pop out the chat so that I can, give myself a better
Yes.
chance of
Always.
catching like member chats and stuff like that.
That you need to do that, Shane, so you don't miss member chats or
Well, Shane probably gets too many
gifted members. Because I remember one time you lost it.
Nobody knows how to read them like that. Me and Mandy, nobody knows how to read member chats.
I'll tell you right now. You pop off the chat, and then
I don't know what that means. You're saying something I don't know what you mean.
So when you open up the YouTube window of your stream, and you go to the chat, there's 3 little dots at the top. You click on that and pop out chat, so it comes out like just as a window. So you don't have to have your like actual stream up or anything like that. It's just a chat. So you can usually I can just read off that, and because it's actually ahead of the StreamYard chat, which is StreamYard chat's on a delay. But that's what I'll do. Like obviously you can't pull them up if you want to like do this. Shane can't pop off, says Finatra.
Yeah.
You also can't tag anyone, says Mo.
And you could see the super
if
stickers.
someone sends you a super sticker, exactly.
I got you. You know how, like I said, like things feel different. The same is said though. I to really make sure I'm saying this correctly. I feel like mainstream comics feels different the last 3 years. Like looking at news, like everything, like it's like altogether different. Everything's different. And I know things are going to change, but like even like I was thinking like before COVID, Marvel and DC to DC today. I guess what started this is seeing like I was watching that Dan DiDio video with Mark Millar, and I was just hearing what was just a few years ago being talked about like that. It's just like it seems like there's been a lot of moving parts the last 3 years just in the world of comics in general.
Well, speaking of Clownfish, they did a video the other day talking about how there's journalists or comic book professional creators who are still in the mainstream saying things that got Zach in hot water in 2017, and they're just like saying the exact same stuff now as if it's nothing, as if it's everyone knows it. So I mean that's a pretty clear change in how things are happening out there.
But that was weird back in the day, like the stuff Zach would talk about that people were so defensive against, like Marvel doing things that look like they're just trying to run the company down to go out of business and stuff. Like some of his points were more like business points, like at one point.
Yeah, but it's how he was saying it and what he was doing while he was saying it, and then the other stuff he was saying.
But it was weird how people were like jumped at him like, hey, you can't say that. That's ist, or they weren't like ist or faux, but they were like, fuck this guy over here. He's a troublemaker. Like, and it was like, well, no, it's a valid point. Why is Marvel doing books that nobody's buying and they keep doubling, quadrupling down? Like, what is that about? Like, and now, like I agree. It all started with that, like, what was it? CBR 10 things comics need tropes they need to change or something like that. And they were all like CG talking points.
Like, was that the recent thing?
That was like a couple of weeks ago, and then it seemed like everybody did a video about it.
That was it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. Clownfish did a video. Yeah.
Yeah, and it seemed like it's kind of triggering to some people because it's like I've wondered this because I'm always like, what's the next situation? Like some people are really caught up in today's or 2 months ago situation, like with the IGG stuff. I'm like, well, no, that's not what you have to worry about. You have to worry about what's coming next. Because, usually one punch follows after another. And as far as like, what the fuck were we talking about?
Changing industry, the changing landscape.
Yeah, it's like what people, their talking points will eventually be like CG talking points eventually. And then it's like, well, how are they going to frame that? Like, how are they going to distinguish what is different from dim and CG? Like, how are they going to paint us? Because they're eventually going to hijack our talking points, but they're going to try to say, "But I'm different than them."
Oh yeah, totally. Oh yeah.
And I worry about that, because then that's going to lean in. I've caught certain people doing it, like Perch and stuff. That's going to lean into, those guys are racist. It's going to double back on that, but they're going to hijack all our talking points as their own, and they're going to try to draw this line that we're just, there's that proof of racism right there. That's what's different between, and it's just, we're racist. It's just going to go right back to that, 100%.
Yeah, Sierra was talking about that with this Hogwarts Legacy stuff. He's like, just watch. In a few weeks or a few months, all these activists are going to come out and saying, because, you know, they made so much money for this thing, like trying to boycott it, that they're going to come out and say, oh, no, we actually wanted to do that because we wanted to trick you into supporting a game with a trans character in it or some shit. Yeah, you know they're gonna flip it if they can. If it, you know, it gets to the point where it's so obvious and it becomes a benefit to them, because at some point, like, this is what I always wondered, at some point, when are these people who aren't getting paid, like they're not getting paid a decent wage, they're fighting to get paid for work that they've done, they're not even getting work, when are they going to stop fighting for this industry that's like treating them like garbage? Eventually they probably will.
They're going to look a lot like the people that turned on Warren Ellis, like Kelly Sue DeConnick and stuff. They're going to do like one of these complicated huffs at the screen and try to look so brave and bold, and everybody's going to turn against. Like, basically, they're all going to be like, I'm trying not to use certain slave metaphors here because I'd rather not, but they're basically going to turn against their masters and be like, you know, and it's worse because Marvel and DC, they're going to have basically T. Franklin talking about how she was only hired and exploited for her diversity points and her being in a wheelchair. Like, they're going to do that. It's just a matter of time, but it's that they know, she knows she's going to do it, and they know she's going to do it, and that's what keeps her employed, is just one more check. Like, I mean, she basically has a blank check that she's writing right now. I feel like she's trolling. I feel like the stuff she's writing and she's putting in these books is like an epic troll, like a fuck you troll that she'll always be able to point back at and say, most of this stuff is that, right? Like, isn't most of it just
trolling
like
who?
Trolling pop culture. Like, I mean, in the end, it's like, yeah, you guys were really easy to infiltrate and tear down.
Right. Yeah, it's like, look what I got away with. Like, look what you just turned your eye to, and if they were like a super spy or a double agent being like, this is what you let me get away with.
Yeah, they're gonna with their blue hair point and laugh and say, look at what you let me do to the thing you loved.
Right.
They're gonna blame us for it. They're gonna be like, but you let me do this. Yeah, I didn't know what I was doing. I told you I didn't know what I was doing. I told you I was a sex worker. Why did you let me write Harley Quinn? Like, that's on you. I destroyed this character, but you're the one that allowed me to do it.
She's sitting there drinking wine with all her lesbian friends saying, and then I went on Twitter and said I drained balls and they gave me a new book.
That's what I'm saying. She didn't say she drained balls. She said she drained wallets and balls. Like, they go hand at one hand.
She's a grandmother.
And she's a grandmother. She had to bring her grandchildren into this tweet.
Yeah,
and somehow we gave her work. They gave her more work. I mean, at some point she's laughing, right? She's got to be at us. You know, I mean, why do it?
I guess at the mainstream industry, I don't really count myself amongst them.
What if she was a right-wing psyop infiltrating just to show?
Did it turn out that the dude with the massive blown up tits, was that a psyop? Was that like a troll? Did that ever come up? I mean, people
I quit following that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll see it pop up on the news every now and then, like on Fox News or something. They'll keep bringing it back up, but I wasn't listening. I just would see it on the TV.
Yeah, I just seen the boobs at first, and then after like 5 minutes, I realized it was a dude, and I felt ashamed.
Because you had your dick out.
I mean, I don't even know. Do we even have rules in place anymore? I mean, are there any real rules in place anymore? Do we have any hard lines?
Yeah, for white men. There's plenty of rules for straight white men.
But what if I identify as a black woman? Then
there are no rules.
That's what I'm saying. See?
Yeah, you're right. It's pretty crazy. Like there are rules for you unless you just say the magic words. Literally, that's what it is. You just have to say the magic words, and then all of a sudden there are no rules for you.
Yep.
I mean, it's a pretty interesting system we've got here developing. I'm sure nothing will go wrong. What could go wrong in a system like that?
Yeah, I'm sure it'll all be
peachy keen.
We're gonna start condemning gravity pretty soon. I'm pretty sure.
I'm excited for that too.
Oh yeah, it's making.
I mean, we're already against biology and science. Like physics. It's coming. We're coming for you.
Well, here's the twist.
Trust me.
Gravity's making chicks way too much, right?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, there was an article about I don't know. The Guardian got called for using a fat dude photo by some friggin' idiot doctors here in Australia. The Guardian is a super progressive newspaper. And this doctor went into a whole tirade about this is a negative stereotype of fat people and all this blah blah blah. It's pretty crazy. But I remember watching a video years ago. It was in South Africa, and it was a science thing, and all these students gathered together to condemn the white scientist for demanding scientific rigor. He wasn't accepting any of their voodoo magic. They're like, African magic as valid science, and they were going nuts. Like they were going berserk. They wouldn't have a bar of it. They were like, you're denying my reality and all this stuff. And I think they actually did eventually get their sort of whatever. I don't know what it is over there, like Zulu Nation science, into the curriculum. So it can happen. All it just needs is a plurality of complainers. So yeah, stay in touch for that.
I think I'm looking for my second win to give a fuck to all this. Like, I mean, I'm at a point where it's like in one ear and out the other, and I'm like, what happens next? Because eventually you're boxing yourself into just stupid. Like, I feel like everybody's gonna snap out of this one day.
Well, I'll tell you what happens next is that bridge collapses after all the women engineers built it. Remember? Like that's what happens. The buildings start falling down, planes start falling out of the sky. Did you ever see that? Did you ever see that woman trying to become a firefighter, trying to knock down the door? 20 times.
Yeah.
Like I'm not just saying this to shit on women. I'm saying like that's the same principle. This is where it's headed. Like if you just let everyone be there to fill out a quota, I mean, yeah, people will start dying, shit will start not working, and society will fall apart essentially.
I tell you my funny boxing woman that identifies as a man story.
No.
All right. I maybe said it on the stream and nobody saw it, but it was funny. So at the gym I'm at, we do boxing, kickboxing, and Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So I was like, well, I didn't feel like I got too much of a workout in kickboxing, so I stayed over for boxing. I normally do sometimes, not a lot. So they were just doing like circuit training. So, you know, we'd line up and have to go through like ladder push-ups, right? So it's like a rope ladder, and every you move one cube, do a push-up, move a cube, do a push-up, whatever. And the person behind you, you have to go quick because you're holding up the line, and then they're just holding a push-up. So there's a girl that identifies as a man. Hairy pits, you know, wrapping her tits, all this stuff, right? And these are big dudes, roided up dudes that compete, you know, and they're sparring hard, and she's just like
I thought you said dudes that can pee. But
no,
you said dudes that
they
can
compete
compete.
standing up.
Okay.
No, they compete standing up. She can't, but they compete and stuff like that. I mean, like, so it's very aggressive, Jim, which is nice, but not for a woman that's just going to step in a men's class and just want to start punching people. So we're doing the ladder thing, and she's holding things up, and we're about the fourth time through this drill. Like, you know, in between we have to do like whatever, hit the bag or for whatever round or whatever. So we end up back on this ladder, and eventually she just collapses, and you can hear the wind come out of her I buckled down my tits chest, and you know, just the air leave her body, and she's like, oh, and there's this sign of defeat, and everybody's being held up. And I said, and I look at her, and I wasn't even thinking of her situation in life. I just look at her and I go, just do girl push-ups, you know, which is a thing. Like, you go down on your knees, and she just looks at me in fucking disgust, and I realize, oh shit, I stepped on the landmine.
You're about to get canceled.
I just, and I look over and then it's like, wait, there's just a bunch of dudes in here. I don't care. It's like whatever.
No, but that's being
girl
like,
push-ups. You're just as offended by girl push-ups if the dude behind me told me to do girl push-ups.
Exactly.
Like,
you're treating her like a man. That's what you would do. Like, if your dude gassed out, you would say, just do girl push-ups, you pussy.
I'm like, the guy behind me is about to tell me to do them if you don't get through this. Like, yeah. But it's like, I realized one of the guys I know, Joe, I'm like, I had to tell him, I was like, because not everybody's so dialed into this culture shit. And I'm like, Joe, you do realize that's not a dude. And he's like, oh shit. And I'm like, yeah, come over here. It's like, you gotta ask her their pronouns. I don't know what they are right now. He goes, I just call everybody buddy. That was his answer. Just call everybody buddy.
Hey, buddy.
You're never gonna be wrong. Hey, buddy.
Yeah, we have mate here. Like, we can say mate. It's not really gender neutral unless it's your daughter.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And even then, after a certain age, it's not really a thing. You don't call chicks mate.
Somebody says buddy is for men. What do you call, like, girls? I mean, you just say buddy. That's not manly, is it? I mean, it's a manly thing to say, but that's
a little
not
manly.
You can't really, because you
guys.
But then that's guys.
Plural.
Guys, yeah, I say guys all the time.
Yeah.
Have you guys been here before?
I remember when DC stopped doing that. They used to say, hey guys, in a group email, and then one day they're like, hello everyone.
Oh my.
I think you notice how it's like it changes all the time, year to year. Yeah. But it's contradictory. So, like, taking away the gender specific things is contradictory to the trans thing. You know, it's all in conflict.
Yeah.
Do you think they were so confused when they got rid of, like, old English and they just started changing letters and respelling words? You think society went up, like, they were just turned upside down one day? Like, they couldn't read it. I don't know if you've ever came across, like, an old library book and it's old English.
Well, America, when Brits came over and settled in the colonies, they purposely started speaking differently to discern themselves from Britain.
Right.
Tried to make the dialect their own.
I mean, I'm joking, but there's probably some real philosophical shit here with what we're talking
There's
about.
a fantastic channel, actually, a really entertaining guy who actually teaches all about that stuff. It's actually really interesting. He tells you about how different words ended up the way they ended up and what it was like when it happened.
Yeah.
So that's actually a good question.
Is that kind
I
of
can't
what
remember
we're dealing with in a weird way now, though?
Is it like what?
Well, I mean, language is changing for whatever reason, but it's still language is changing, and we're always catching up. So we're always in a place of ignorance because we don't have the new word on. We don't understand the new word. We're always being taught, and we're always being lectured, and we're always playing like defense and not offense. I feel like the only way we're gonna win this culture war, guys, is we take up their game and we start making up our own words.
Well, no, I think we've been pretty successful with words like woke. Like they don't want woke anymore. And they're so desperate to try and go back to the dictionary definition, even though that's not any way that anyone uses it anymore. They got the word bigot. Like that the word bigot is done. It's completely changed. It used to mean
but now we have groomer, and they really hate it when you say groomer.
We have groomer. Yep.
And there was a video that I tried to show last night on the show, and I told you guys about it, but TikTok pulled it. But essentially, it was this girl, with all the fucking shit in her face, and she worked at a Starbucks, and the person came up to her and said, "Do I address you as they, them?" And she said, "Yes." But then she went on and made her TikTok and said, "I was so pissed that they were able to, meet me and say what I wanted them to say."
Yeah, they were able to tell that was they, them.
What's that?
You were saying that they were mad that they were able to tell that they were they, them.
Yeah, exactly. Well, just the fact that they used it, that they didn't say, "Excuse me, miss." They had asked, and so it was like, well, how many times can you keep moving the goalpost? And so, I mean, on some level, it's like, if you really want to beat them, then you kind of just can. All right, we'll play your game. We'll do it just the way you want to do it, and see how quickly you change the rules again.
It's kind of like when a dog's like got his toy and you're grabbing it, and he's really pulling. And if you just you turn loose of it, and the dog. It's like, well, I don't want the rope anymore. You're not.
Dude, it's exactly that. Like I don't know if you get it. Like I like to use the word woke a lot in titles and descriptions and videos and stuff, because I'll get if it goes popular, I get a flood of people saying, "Oh, you use the word woke," and that's so cringy. And I'm like, I got you, motherfucker. Yes, like you are exactly where I want. Like. This is it. Like you thought that was your thing, and you were just going to use that to bludgeon everyone else with. No, it's not. No, but like I know, like I was saying about bigot, like it used to mean, someone who cannot accept anyone else's opinion. And they sort of flipped it on its head to mean the opposite of that. It's just like it's about. Someone who hates other races or people or something like that. And then they can't accept, like the people who go around calling everyone bigots can't accept anyone else's opinions. Fascist is another word that they sort of claimed, unfortunately. I think it's going tit for tat. But they're in control of academia. They're in control of entertainment at large. They're in control of politics. They're now in control of the corporations, which came as a massive shock to a lot of the blowhard conservative talkers who, for years, are just saying, "Wait until these idiots get into the real world and have to get a real job. There's no woke. You won't be able to say this and that." No, you idiots. They took over. Like they're controlling it now.
I think the other thing too is, okay, let's say it does seep into mainstream to the point where, Starbucks is like, they're telling their employees like, yeah, it's okay to feel like this and ask the customer of this. But at some point the customers are going to be like, well, I'm not going to the store, or I'm not going to deal with this. And as soon as money goes out, they'll do anything to make sure that there isn't any amount of money that's, completely fucking over their profits.
Yeah.
So at that point, it's just like, you can still pretty much vote with your wallet. If I feel like I go to a deli and the girl behind the counter is telling me that I can't refer to my wife as my wife, she has to be my partner, then I don't go to that fucking deli again. And it's really that simple.
I don't know if it's. I mean, it's that simple as far as business, but on a different level, like we've changed doctors and with the baby and everything, like it's came up a lot for us in the last couple of years. But even going to a new doctor and doing a patient intake form, like they're asking me what genders have I been in my life? What gender was I assigned when I was born? What do I want to be if the box isn't there? What do I want to be called? Like they came in, they're already in on the medical field, like, and more people don't talk about it. I mean, probably because most people aren't switching doctors, but like they're really already set in on a whole new level that and once they're in on that level, I don't know where you go. Like I don't know if you go back. I think that shit's here to stay.
Yeah, you can't really, like, it's completely consumed banking. Like there's no normal banking anymore. Like at least here in Australia, your banking comes with all this woke shit, gender and sexuality and all of it. Like that's what it all is all about. Like on every form, in every piece of marketing and communication, it's all about that. And so what are you going to do? You're going to start your own bank?
Well, even
you're
like
kind of stuck.
Even like baby clothes, it's like there's a lot of non-binary baby clothes, like in batches. It's all like grays, and it's like my baby's going to dress like a freaking alien.
That used to be called gender neutral. Remember that?
Oh yeah, they didn't like that anymore. They had to change it.
Yeah, now it's non-binary, and then some dumb girl thought non-binary. They were like, no, that means newborn. That's non-binary. It's a newborn baby outfit.
My stepmother works at a university, and she has to deal with this every day, and she's completely against it. But I mean, she's drafting these emails and everything using all this language and everything because that's her job. And she's like, I love my job, but I mean, it's completely infested with all this shit. Even though she completely disagrees with it, she does it. So, but it does make you wonder, like, how many other people? It's like the USSR. How many people were just going along with it, even though they completely didn't agree with it because they thought everyone else did, and no one just sort of spoke up.
I went to a play yesterday, and on the playbill, it had everybody that was in the production, the actors, the director, this audio guy. It had their pronouns next to their name. Well, it had a symbol, and then there was a compass at the bottom, or a little thing that told you which symbol meant which pronoun. And it's like, I know it's probably obvious that they're going to do that in the theater, but just to see that, it's like they took the extra time to ask everybody and to type this all out and have this little area which tells you what symbol means what.
You did a short on it when I looked just now, and we talked about doing a video on it, but we didn't. I'm not going to say his name right. The guy that was Luther, and the black dude that said, "I'm not a black actor. I'm just an actor."
Idris Elba.
Yeah, Idris. Yeah.
Great actor.
Yeah, great actor. And me and Yanzi were talking about it in depth, and she's like, black probably means something completely different to him than it does black people here because he's British.
Yeah,
so it doesn't really.
Yeah, Chokeout talks about that a lot.
Yeah,
it's not the same. They're from a completely different country. They're from a completely different history of immigration.
Somebody was complaining about this in our green room with Shrinking King on a poster for China. And some people don't really understand why China does that. Like, is it racist? Maybe, but sure. Like, I'll just say it is, just for argument's sake. I personally don't care. I'm not in China, but the issue is Asians just don't like dark skin, even in themselves. Like, they bleach their skin and everything. Any actor or actress with darker skin is going to get pushed to the back, even if they're black or Asian. It doesn't matter. Like, it's just what it is. It's just they just don't like dark skin, period. Does that mean they're racist against black people? Like, that's where it gets weird. It's not the cultural meaning of that is different than what we observe it as. It's so weird. We think we're the center of the universe, like in a weird way, and everything, and because of that, everything resorts to being racist. And it's like, no. It's like there's other factors here. Like to him, he's like, he probably just wants to be hired for a role, whether he's black or not. Like he's just like, don't think of I need a black person when you go to hire me. Think I'm the guy you want to hire.
Well, it's sort of like, I mean, it's a little different in Hollywood. And someone left a comment on that short, and we were sort of having a little chat, and we boiled it down to, okay, well, if the role requires a black person, that's just what it requires. And I guess, you go there with all the other black actors and try and get the part. But if it's more of the production company looks at a production and goes, oh, I think we need 2 more black people and an Asian in here, so let's just call up the black guy. Like that's when you're like, all right, then yeah, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want you to call me when you need a black guy to make your movie look diverse.
That was Lucy Liu's career in a nutshell. She was there for a while. She was like every Asian girl in every film.
Yeah.
I mean, some people can benefit from that, and some people can lose jobs because of that. They're like, well, we don't need you because we don't need an Asian girl. But it's like, yeah, but you need a girl, and I happen to be Asian, so am I the right fit for the job? Like, I don't know. Like that's a whole different argument. Like I see that guy's perspective, but I felt like that actor in general in your video. I mean, from my I mean, keep in mind, I've seen his stuff like all around. Like most of his movies or TV shows, so he's a well-rounded actor. Like, I mean, he delivers. He's a great actor. Role. He's a great actor, and I feel like he just wants to be an actor. Period.
Yep.
It was like that. It was like that dude, the writer Priest. He was like, he put his foot down and said, "All right, I mean, I'm happy to write comics for you, but I don't want to be the black writer anymore."
I had this
write comics.
I had this argument before Comicsgate, around Comicsgate time, though. And I was in with Ethan and different people. I just wasn't here. And I ended up on a Facebook argument with an artist called Crisscross. Crisscross started really getting about being black, like and being a black.
He's from the 90s, Crisscross, right?
Yeah, but he was still around.
Did he make you jump
around?
I remember him when I was in 5th grade.
Yeah, I came up and told him, I was like, dude, I bought your shit all the time I was a kid, and Slingers, some other stuff you did. I said, I loved your stuff, and I never knew you were black. Because I ended up, it's like I stepped in a landmine during that Image era. I was like, I just keep stepping on these landmines of like, why does race matter? Because I was like, why are people attacking me for being white and making a book at Image? And I didn't understand it. And I'm like, well, I have some diverse characters in my book. And they're like, but you're not allowed to write those characters because you're white. And I'm like, the fuck? Like, then what can I do? Oh, well, I'm stuck writing like a white character, but you are not even allowed to be published because you're white. We need to change this. And somehow I crossed paths with him, and I ended up saying that to him publicly. And then we ended up in this whole thing. Well, we need more diverse characters and stuff. And I just up and said, like, there's tons of Hispanic talent right now in comics. And that's what always confused me, why they were pushing for such diverse creators, because at the time there was like all these Brazilians working at DC Comics. It wasn't like, man, they had big gigs too. Why? Because they were cheap and, were cheaper. They come from a different economy. And I never understood that argument that people were having. And
because it's fucking bogus. That's why.
Well, and I brought it up. I was like, well, I just up and said, I said, these creators could be making Hispanic characters or Brazilian characters for DC Comics, but the truth is they just want to draw Batman. And that was really the end of the argument. It's like, in the end, even your diverse creator, but something changed. Then all of a sudden you ended up with like women they're like, well, now's our time. I got to write women characters, and it's like, why not
Yeah,
write
yeah,
that?
that's the thing. That's what look. That's the thing that people they see what works and they just try the same tactics. Like it started out with homophobia. Like it used to be phobia. Phobias were things you were afraid of, and then the gay lobby created this idea of homophobia. As in, it's like it's not something you're necessarily scared of, but you're not really like down with it, right? And then that was really successful with getting gay rights and everything legislated. So then they start introducing all kinds of different things like Islamophobia, transphobia, and any kind of group that comes in and is like, oh, we need to like do some activism here. They'll like have to create that thing. So they just use the tactics that work. On the flip side of what you just said, when I got into comics, as just a nobody, I'm like, all right, well, where do I start? I guess I'll open a Twitter account. Okay, all right, jump onto Twitter. All right, now what do I do here? I'll try and follow some people. All right, oh look, here's a hashtag, web comics something. Okay, let's get in on that. And then it's like, oh, here's another one, visible women. I'm like, oh, what the fuck, And then and then I see like, oh, here's all these people, like who are established, have been doing it for ages, have big followings, who all get to participate in this hashtag that's getting all these retweets, without like thousands of retweets and everything. Here's me with 100 followers, not a thing to my name, zero power in the industry, zero power. I didn't even like say my name. No one knows if I'm white, black, male, female, whatever. And then I tell some people, well, I am a dude. Like I can't participate in this thing because it's women, but I have no power. And they're like, yeah, but white men have historically had all the power, so we have to give it to people who aren't. And then you start to realize that this is a completely bogus argument. This is just identity politics. This is just like sort of revenge tactics.
Well, that was the thing, right? And like in America, like where they were actively trying to hire more black employees to try to counterbalance. Like it was like, what was that called?
Affirmative action.
Yeah,
affirmative action. Yeah. Like that was the thing, and it really didn't. At least, like if you watch like black TV, like what we called at the time, like Martin or Bill Cosby or whatever, they would always have these like commentary episodes on it, the effects of it, and even on their end, and it seemed like at least these shows were trying to demonize it. Like I don't think anybody really thought it was a good idea, like because some people felt like they were being taken advantage of. They didn't get the job through meritocracy. Keep in mind that was a different time when people wanted to get achievements for being able to obtain achievements. Like it was a different time. Like today, I don't think people care if they get things for the right reason. They just want them. Actually, I think they want things for the wrong reason because it's fun and easy. I said people were trolling before, but I don't think that was the correct word. Somebody else said it. Like it's not trolling. It's like gotcha or something. I don't know. It's like this weird thing. Like I want to get it just like there was like a rapper that beat a woman's weightlifting record just for fun.
Yeah, Zuby.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like that. I feel like that's what.
Yeah, but I think that's legitimate. Like he's using their rules,
Oh yeah,
right. No, I mean that's legitimate, but I feel like that's what they're doing this whole time, but just on a different. Like it's a cheat code in life. Like it's like, there was this thing with Nintendo Game Genie. Like every kid would get it, and then they get the code, and it was like, yeah, you're taking the fun out of the game, but I get to say I beat the game.
Well, it's like this is now like a product of what affirmative action was trying to be. It's like, oh, we could get this stuff for not doing anything. All right, well then let's push for that. We just watched a clip on Camels last night. It was some guy being like, I don't know if it was a guy or a girl, but they're like, why do I have to work? I should be able to get, live and eat and breathe and have housing for free. And that's
was a
what
classic.
affirmative action gets you.
Yeah, before COVID, there was a lot of leftists wanting to run on universal income. Like everybody thought that was going to just become.
Oh, that whole what's it, Andrew Chang or whatever his name was?
Andrew Yang.
Yeah. That was his whole platform. Yeah.
Yeah, that and automated vehicles, which probably Yanzi, we have that argument all the time. She's like, it's coming. And I'm like, I'm going to be a truck driver. Fuck you. And then like that's the conversation.
I gotta go, guys. I gotta head into the house.
We'll
So thank you very much for hanging out. It's been fun. I even did a little thing here. So that's been good. Everyone go back Inglorious Rex at, is it 9livescomics.com?
If you just Google Inglorious Rex 2, it comes up in Google.
Google it. Yeah. Actually, does anytime someone Googles it and then hits the link, that probably like helps.
We're like number 2 on Google. We're like number 2 on Google right now. So I mean, when you search it, like, which is up under Backer Kit, so it comes up.
Phil Diaz has a book launching in it's
Friday. Friday.
Friday.
Yeah, Friday.
Yes. Last thing we got.
Lost Pages 3. You just
Where are you launching,
showed
Phil?
off your new cover.
Yeah, well, we're gonna launch on my channel, and then we're gonna have the Bancroft show.
Party on
Friday. Yeah,
you're coming on. You're coming on Wednesday, right?
Oh, you guys doing that thing this Wednesday?
Yeah, Mandy mentioned you. Aren't you coming on Wednesday?
Sure. I haven't talked to you.
She didn't line that up. She just told me your name that you're coming on Wednesday.
Maybe she just assumed he would.
Yeah,
it's like I got Phil in my pocket. That's my Mandy impersonation. Boots and Heels, I think, is one backer away from 31K. So
wow.
If anyone hasn't jumped onto it, it's over there on Indiegogo. Boots and Heels. And I'm going to plug the Great Wheel giveaway. How about that? If you haven't already, go to greatwheelgiveaway.com/sign up. I think the link is in the description. Getting the chance to win one of 17 amazing prizes. All right, everyone, that's it from me. It's 9:30. I never CG this late. This is crazy. I'll see you soon. All right, bye.
Individually, we are weak, like a single twig, but as a bundle, we form a mighty